Greetings one and all, you're in tune to Rasta Pastor UK, and this video is entitled Why Do Rastafari People Call Haile Selassie I Christ? So as always, to understand what's being said, we need to actually look at the meaning of the words. So we're going to have a look at the meaning of the word Christ. The meaning of Christ. At their most basic meaning, both the Greek word Christos and the Hebrew word Mashiach mean the anointed one. This title indicates that Jesus' followers believed him to be the anointed son of King David, whom some Jews expected to restore the fortunes of Israel. The literal translation of the Hebrew word Mashiach, Messiah, is anointed, which refers to a ritual of consecrating someone or something by putting holy oil upon it. Rastafari was crowned King of Kings and anointed on the throne of King David with the holy oil on his coronation on the 2nd of November 1930. It was from this time on that he used the secret name that he was given from birth, Haile Selassie, which actually means the might of the Trinity. Being the 225th descendant from King Solomon, Haile Selassie I is actually the King of Israel. The nation of Israel actually moved to Ethiopia in King Solomon's times. This story is explained in the Kebra Negast, or the Glory of the Kings, also known as the Queen of Sheba and her only son Menelik. The Queen of Sheba and her only son Menelik being the history of the departure of God and his Ark of the Covenant from Jerusalem to Ethiopia, and the establishment of the religion of the Hebrews and the Solomonic line of kings in that country, a complete translation of the Kebra Negast. This ancient Ethiopian scriptural text reveals and interprets the story of how the Holy Ark of the Covenant was taken from Jerusalem to Ethiopia by Menelik, the son of King Solomon of Israel and Queen Makeda of Ethiopia. Thus have God made for the king of Ethiopia more glory and grace and majesty than for all of the other kings of the earth, because of the greatness of Zion, the tabernacle of the law of God, the heavenly Zion. Righteous reggae music is known as the King's music. To us Rastafari people, righteous reggae music is a modern extension of the Bible. Just as the Bible was written by men inspired by the Spirit of God, so should be reggae music.
That Israel's king is Israel's God, and oneness can say, yes, I'm mad and mad. Israel's king is Israel's God, and oneness can say, tell them I'm mad and mad. Boy.
There are many quotes and examples in the Bible and the Kebra Negast showing you that Israel's king is Israel's God. Okay, so the Kebra Negast describes how King Solomon lost his glory and the nation of Israel with the Ark of the Covenant moved from Israel to Ethiopia. How the men of the army of Israel received their orders, and then they were made ready to set out. And though there was a great joy with the nobles of the king of Ethiopia, there was sadness with the nobles of the king of Israel, because through the firstborn son of Solomon, king of Israel, that is to say, the king of Ethiopia, the firstborn sons of the nobles of Israel were given to rule over the country of Ethiopia with the son of Solomon the king. Then they assembled together and wept, together with their fathers, their mothers, their relations, and their kinsfolk, and their peoples, and their countrymen. And they cursed the king secretly and reviled him because he had seized their sons against their will. But unto the king they said, because of this thou hast done well. Thy wisdom is so good that the kingdom of Israel, by the will of God, and by thy wisdom, extendeth to the country of Ethiopia. And God will gather together all the other kingdoms of the world into thy hand, for thou hast the right mind towards God, and thou wishest that they shall serve God of Israel, and that the idols may be destroyed out of the world. This is backed up in the Bible in Isaiah 65:1. I revealed myself to those who did not ask for me. I was found by those who did not seek me. To a nation that did not call on my name, I said, here am I, here am I. Back in the Kebra Negast, the people of Ethiopia rejoiced. The people of Ethiopia took flutes and blew horns and beat drums and played on pipes, and the brook of Egypt was moved and astonished at their noise of their songs and their rejoicings, and with them there were mingled outcries and shouts of gladness, and their idols which they had made with their hands, and which they were in forms of men and dogs, cats, fell down, and the high towers, the pylons or obelisks, and also the figures of birds made of gold and silver fell down. Also they were broken into pieces, for Zion shone like the sun, and at the majesty thereof they were dismayed. Ras Tafari was born on the 23rd of July 1892. Prophesied in the second book of Chronicles 7-10. On the 23rd day of the 7th month, he sent the people to their homes, joyful and glad in their heart, for the good things that the Lord has done for David and Solomon and for his people Israel. Tafari's birth was blessed with thunder, lightning and flooding that ended one of Ethiopia's worst droughts in history. Now Haile Selassie, in his youth, his father and mother were astounded by his vast knowledge and wisdom from the Bible. They brought in a priest to talk with him, to ask him where he knew all these things from. Haile Selassie knew books that aren't printed in the Bible, like the 8th, 9th and 10th book of Moses, the Dead Sea Scrolls. He would know them line for line. The priest would ask him questions and he would call them to tell them the answer in their ears, and the answers he would give would frighten the priests away, and some would never return to see him again. At one time there were two priests talking to Tafari, who had claimed he talks to the animals and the wild beasts of the jungles of Ethiopia. One of the priests asked Tafari to draw one of these animals, so Tafari requested for crayons and a piece of paper and began to draw it. It formed into a dove of bright multicolours, and before the priest could question Tafari about the bird on the page, he was dumbfounded when he saw it arise off the paper and fly through the window. The two priests hysterically left the palace and never returned. Revelation 19:12. His eyes are like blazing fire, and on his head are many crowns. He has a name written on him that no one knows but he himself. Ras Tafari fulfills this biblical prophecy. In 1916 he was crowned prince. In 1928 he was crowned king of Negus, and in 1930 he was crowned emperor or king of kings, and then he took on the name that he had from birth by secret, Haile Selassie, which means the might of the Trinity and can be interpreted as the Word of God.
Love Jah, praise Jah, oh Jah, singing praises to your name. Holy, 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 holy is your name. Sing your praise and glory. Holy is your name. In on the throne, Haile Selassie, unto the Lamb who is slain, worthy praise and honor, me say power and glory. Read it in the Bible, Revelation story. Glory, read it in the Bible, free we education. Put the eat onto the herbs, give thanks for your creation. From the book of Genesis right up to Revelation.
The rider on the white horse, Revelation 19:13. He is dressed in a robe dipped in blood, and his name is the Word of God. The armies of heaven, dressed in fine linen, white and pure, follow him on white horses. This here is the flag, aka banner, aka standard of Haile Selassie I. There are many prophecies mentioning this banner in the Bible. The red, gold and green banner of His Majesty is the most famous flag on the planet. It unifies people together. People fly it, not realizing its significance. A banner represents a symbol of identity, purpose and unity. Discover the significance of banners in the Bible as we explore relevant verses that shed light on their meaning and purpose. Uncover the metaphorical implications of banners and how they remind us of God's faithfulness, victory and the power of His presence in our lives. Isaiah 11:12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather them together, the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Psalm 20 verse 5. May we shout for joy over your victory, and lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all your requests. Psalm 60 verse 4. But for those who fear you, you have raised a banner to be unfurled against the bow. Isaiah 11 verse 10. In that day the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the peoples. The nations will rally to him, and his resting place will be glorious. Jeremiah 50 verse 2. Announce and proclaim among the nations, lift up a banner and proclaim it. Keep nothing back, but say, Babylon will be captured. Isaiah 62:10. Go through the gates, prepare the way for the people, build the highway, clear it of stones, lift up a banner for the nations. Isaiah 18 verse 3. All you people of the world, you who live on the earth, when a banner is raised on the mountains, you will see it, and when a trumpet sounds, you will hear it. Psalm 60 verse 4. You have given a banner to those who fear you, that it may be displayed because of the truth.
Look to the east for the coming of a black king. Behold, behold, Christ in his kingly character, Christ in his kingly character, Christ in his kingly character, Christ in his kingly character. One low brother man say Rasta, who goes it must be Jaja. Thank goodness I don't have to wonder, I know he is forever. Christ in his kingly character, Christ in his kingly character.
It is ironic that during the first visitation of Israel's Messiah, the Judeans at the time were expecting his appearance to be in the person of the conquering Lion King, while during His Majesty's Haile Selassie I earthly visitation, most of the world were expecting the Messiah to again be in the person of Jesus the Lamb, the suffering servant. When we listen to the speeches of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, we realize that he always venerates the Son in the Bible, Jesus Christus. And if we look at the speeches of Jesus Christus in the Bible, he is always venerating the Father in heaven, whose name is kept secret. Words of Kebra Haile Selassie. Today, man sees all his hopes and aspirations crumbling before him. He is perplexed and knows not whither he is drifting, but he must realize that the Bible is his refuge and the rallying point for all humanity. In it, man will find the solution of his present difficulties and guidance for the future action. And unless he accepts with clear conscience the Bible and its great message, he cannot hope for salvation. For my part, I glory in the Bible. For my part, I glory in the Bible. And in the book of John, chapter 8, verse 50, I do not seek my own glory. There is one who seeks it, and he is the judge. They will suffer the punishment of eternal destruction away from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his might when he comes on that day, to be glorified in his saints and to be marvelled at among all who have believed. The glory of his might. Haile Selassie means might of the Trinity, which means the word of God. This name is worthy to be praised. Revelation chapter 5. Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals? Then one of the elders said to me, do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed to open the scroll and its 7 seals. To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honour and glory and power forever and ever. Who sat on the throne of King David? Haile Selassie. Who is the Lamb? Yeshua. Haile Selassie I was the head of the one and only true church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. Tewahedo is an Ethiopian Guta's word meaning united as one. Here is the Amharic version of the Bible that Haile Selassie released in 1961. This Bible does in fact have 7 seals. The 7 seals are the title of the Bible. Kedemawi Haile Selassie's version of the Bible has 81 books, unlike the European version that has 66.
Emperor Selassie, prophecy it a reveal. Time to praise the man will open the 7 seal. Certain type of living you feel low, and starting about your Nazarene vow. Get a youth right now, prophecy.
In the autobiography of Emperor Haile Selassie I, King of Kings of Ethiopia, My Life and Ethiopia's Progress, Volume 1, the Emperor actually warns us in the preface of the book, saying, a house built on granite and strong foundations, not even the onslaught of pouring rain, gushing torrents and strong winds will be able to pull it down. Some people have written the story of my life, representing as truth what in fact derives from ignorance, error, or envy, but they cannot shake the truth from its place, even if they attempt to make others believe it. Okay, so next we're going to look at one of the major lies out there circulating, that Haile Selassie I actually denied being Christ, which he never did. Right, first of all we need to look at the evidence. Knowing that Haile Selassie I was the head of the Tewahedo Church, we know he would have followed their doctrine. Tewahedo, one perfectly unified nature of Christ. Miaphysitism is the Christological doctrine that holds Jesus, the incarnate word, is fully divine and fully human in one nature. Okay, so now we're going to analyse this famous clip where people say that Haile Selassie I denied being Christ. First, let's listen to the question.
Millions of Christians throughout the world, Your Imperial Majesty, will regard you as the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
Okay, so the question was about reincarnation. So, what religion believes in reincarnation? Reincarnation is a mainstream teaching in Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism and Jainism. Therefore, reincarnation is not part of the Tewahedo faith, and Haile Selassie I gives a warning in his reply.
I had heard of that idea. I also met certain Rastafarians. I told them clearly that I am a man, that I am mortal, and that I will be replaced by the oncoming generation, and that they should never make a mistake in assuming or pretending that the human being is emanated from a deity.
So, responding to the question about reincarnation, He goes on to warn certain Rastafarians, not all Rastafarians, but certain ones that are mixed up in this reincarnation philosophy.
I listen to the album. Me have a philosophy. Me know I can't hold up a philosophy. Because me like you, me like your philosophy. I hold you up ways. And
enough reasoning we have, man.
me here you have one planet where I say, see the Peter Tosh thing there on TV there, yeah. Where I say about life after death.
Yeah, reincarnation.
Yeah.
Well, the whole purpose of reincarnation is evolving, and we passed the animal stage already. All of us.
So dog no experience.
The animal stage. No, what I've read is that you have different stages of animals. Different stage. You see when that's gonna get into some whole heap of thing with evolution, but.
No, but no wrong with evolution. Not no wrong with evolution.
I had heard of that idea. I also met certain Rastafarians. I told them clearly that I am a man, that I am mortal, and that I will be replaced by the oncoming generation, and that they should never make a mistake in assuming or pretending that the human being is emanated from a deity.
Okay, so when we look at the actual question about Christians throughout the world thinking about reincarnation, it doesn't actually make sense, because why would Christians be thinking about reincarnation in the first place? Reincarnation is not part of the Christian doctrine. His Majesty clearly tells Rastafarians that he is a man and that he is mortal, or in other words, fully human. Assuming or pretending that a human being is emanated from a deity. In other words, if you assume or believe or pretend that a human can come from God without a mother on earth. So the Emperor gave a clear warning against emanation philosophy. His quote has been taken out of context, rewritten and spread as a rumour, saying that he said, "Do not worship me, I am not God, I am only a man, I worship Jesus Christ." We must remember that Haile Selassie I warned us in his autobiography, saying, "Some people have written the story of my life, representing as truth what in fact derives from ignorance, error or envy, but they cannot shake the truth from its place, even if they attempt to make others believe it." Here we have one of the most famous churches in Ethiopia, in Lalibela. These churches are carved out of one piece of rock. The 11 rock-hewn churches of Lalibela are monolithic churches located in the western Ethiopian highlands near the town of Lalibela, named after the late 12th and early 13th century King Kebra Negast Lalibela of the Zagwe dynasty, who commissioned the massive building project of 11 rock-hewn churches to recreate the holy city of Jerusalem in his own kingdom. The site remains in use by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Christian Church to this day, and it remains an important place of pilgrimage for Ethiopian Orthodox worshippers. It took 24 years to build all of the 11 rock-hewn churches.
It is good that you are here to record this picture of me in my palace garden at Addis Ababa. People who see this throughout the world will realize that even in the 20th century, with faith, courage, and a just cause, David will still beat Goliath. David will still beat Goliath.
Yo, you never coulda come fi kill the concrete lion. You coulda be a politician or a Freemason. Washington DC, be the city of London. Emperor Haile Selassie I, a figure rarely mentioned in histories of human rights, made significant contributions in the realm of human rights diplomacy in the 1930s. Following fascist Italy's invasion of his nation in 1935, he persistently lobbied the League of Nations to uphold Ethiopia's right to self-determination and punish Italy's use of chemical weapons and other violations of the Geneva Protocol and Hague Conventions. Raising international awareness of Italian war crimes in Africa. As is also shown, he drew attention to the shortcomings of the League's covenant, providing vital lessons for the founding of the United Nations. This is in fact a picture of His Majesty at the League of Nations. At the League of Nations in 1936, Haile Selassie stated, "It is us today, it will be you tomorrow." This ominous foreshadowing of the deplorable actions that would later be committed in the name of fascism during World War II is eerie in its accuracy. Isaiah 42:4, "He will not grow weak or discouraged before he has established justice on the earth. In his law the islands will put their hope." Isaiah 2:4, "He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples." Psalm 110:6, "He will judge the nations, heaping up the dead and crushing the rulers of the whole earth." What is the meaning of Psalm 2:9? "Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel." Be wise now, therefore, all ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. This passage predicts the anointed king, the Messiah, will smash the rebellious nations to pieces with an iron rod. The psalmist urges the kings and rulers of the earth to submit to the Son's rule and come to friendly terms with him. What is the iron rod in the Bible? The rod of iron, as seen in the vision interpreted, was the word of God, or the gospel of Jesus Christ, which led to the tree of life that the Master explained to the woman at the well in Samaria as a well of living water springing up into everlasting life. John 4:14. Emperor Haile Selassie I brought together the various Christian communities. On January the 15th, 1965, Emperor Selassie brought together the 5 church heads of the Oriental Orthodox Church in Addis Ababa, as uniting various sects of Christianity after several schisms were of the highest priority in his rule. Heads of Oriental churches came from Egypt, Syria, India and Armenia to link up with the heads of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church and the Emperor. The conference lasted 15 days, which was ironic as Ephesus in 431 lasted 15 days. Towards the end of the conference, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I was venerated with the title Defender of the Faith by the patriarchs of the Oriental Orthodox Churches of the world. The next year, the Emperor would address the World Evangelical Conference in Berlin on how Christianity needed unity more than ever. A snippet of his speech included the quote, "As the unity of the Church is of great concern to us and, God willing, being hopeful that this sacred objective might be achieved in our day and age, we were happy to have convened a meeting of the heads of the Oriental Orthodox churches in our capital city of Addis Ababa to deliberate on ways and means of bringing about harmony and unity in the church. Haile Selassie I was recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as having been awarded the most decorations of any person. Haile Selassie's service dress uniform showing 14 rows of ribbons of some of his decorations.
So you have to know to be a soldier. King Selassie I am your Oshua. No Jah and Jah culture. Spirit of Jah will come around. Yeah, you have to know Jah. King Selassie I am your Oshua. No Jah and Jah culture. Spirit of Jah will come around.
Here we have a picture of two halves. On the left there is a 1500-year-old painting or depiction of Yeshua or Jesus Christ, and on the right a modern photograph of Haile Selassie I. This can only be a miracle of words. Jah is seen clearly. Okay, so here's the full version of the painting of Jesus on the left, and another photograph of Haile Selassie I on the right. Okay, so the early painting of Jesus or Emmanuel, the Son of the Almighty Jah, one of the St. Catherine's Monastery's oldest, best preserved and most well-known works, is the painting icon of Jesus, Yeshua, called in the Greek the Pantocrator, meaning all sovereign, all ruler of all. This painting would remain virtually unknown until fairly recently, when allegedly discovered and examined by archaeologist George Sartorio in 1930. It is widely believed that it is upon the Pantocrator image that nearly all existing Christ images are based. The icon is over 1500 years old. St. Catherine is located deep in Egypt's Sinai Desert, built in 330 AD. From the book In His Image by St. Paco.
What was hidden from the wise